clerk K to the bank account so she can be a check signer.
All right, any questions on that? Okay, let's move on.
Okay, and then number 7, the Glen Jackson Water Service Area. Jordan's here tonight too. Jordan and myself, we met with Atron. He's over the Bear County, the water department and the other departments. This is part of the SDS service agreement. I gave you guys a copy of the map. It's I blew it up a little bit. You can't read it that clearly, but it's the first one, the red map. Yeah, the red area is Statham Water Service Area, and the county has agreed to go ahead where we're gonna be building the Glen Jackson. They're gonna be, what's his name? That subdivision that is coming in over in Glen Jackson.
Kirkland Properties.
Okay. The county has their water main over there, and we went out on Tuesday, I believe. Yeah, Tuesday, and met with Atron, and he said there wouldn't be a problem for them to turn over their water main for the city because that is the city's water service area anyway. So we're gonna get the water main that they put in over there so we can service that new subdivision coming in. Okay.
All we gotta do is connect it, right?
Yeah, we need to connect it from our side, our end to their end in order for that new subdivision to go
Jordan,
in.
you got, you know how many feet that was?
I think it's approximately 800 feet.
Okay.
And then also one other thing, we do have some sewer area. It's on the next map. It's in the orange color section. That there is a few. If you compare the water and the sewer area together, there's like a little part missing from the orange map, from the red map, that we don't provide water to it, sewer to it. So we're gonna, give the county that. The orange map. And they're gonna go ahead and give us the water main on Glen Jackson Road.
Got any more questions on that?
Are we buying that water main or that?
No, we're not buying it.
That
They're
section,
gonna,
or we
Not
just
that
get
particular
permission?
section, they were gonna allow us to get several hundred feet of their line to the next valve and isolate it there.
Okay,
And just the development was going in, that's our area, we can get the service, we'll just have to connect our line and city limits down to where they're main.
yeah,
And the further line on down Glen Jackson, we're still talking to them about what we're gonna do with that.
okay.
Right now, let's just get this, that new development be
Yeah.
served.
I know at one point they were talking about letting us continue on down Glen Jackson to,
Well, the amount of footage that that line is, he told us the other day, he couldn't just give us that, that had to go before the commissioners. So, hopefully, I haven't heard anything back from him this week.
I see.
any more questions? Okay.
Okay.
Item number 8, we have William T. Jackson. He wants to talk about the amendment to remove 2 readings on non-emergency ordinance. And he's here tonight. If you
Do I
come
need
up
to come up?
Yes.
Mayor, council. Basically, I've talked to several of y'all people since I've been put on the agenda to speak, okay? This proposal to, change the city charter from a 2-read to a 1-read and then vote. I was wanting an explanation for this, what the city council thought about it, who come up with it. A lot of stuff has already been said here tonight that gives some explanation. Now, basically, I just want to know how any of you think it's a good idea to have somebody read something one time, not give it any thought, not gather any information, and be able to vote. Now, this change to our charter, to me, is unwarranted. And if you feel differently, you vote your way. I'm hoping at least one of you do not vote for this change. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Next is Bobby and Randy Holiday. They want to talk about the development of a 55 older subdivision on Holiday Farm.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you and to present our proposal for a family farm. And I've lived on that farm since 1946, still live there. And you know, Statham's a growing area and everybody's looking at property. And so we've been working on this particular development now since 2006. And so we're not going into something that we hadn't really researched and had a lot of background on, and we feel like it's having a 55+ community in Statham will be a great asset to Statham. So I brought some first let me say I'm not asking for any kind of permit or anything at this time, because we haven't settled on exactly what we want to ask for a permit for. But I do want the council to look at this information, and so we'll have an idea how to go forward, because we're at a point where it's going to require a lot of money, a lot of engineering money. And when I say a lot of engineering money, it's ridiculous now what it costs just to put a street in. And if you've noticed anything, they're not putting many streets in, they're building houses up and down the main roads, but they're not cutting any streets, because it's a very costly thing to do it. But a 55+, you gotta cut streets, and you gotta have a high density to make it pay off. So what we're looking at is a high density area and having a PUD, you know, so we can change the square footage and change the density, which you have it already in the city charter ordinance that you can go to a PUD. And I brought 2 different designs with us tonight, and I want you to look at those. And there's some rough copies of them in those binders. And we try to give you enough information so you can get an idea of what we're trying to do. And so let me bring up the 2 drawings. Now these drawings were really made in 2007, so you know how long we've had them. This is this is just a concept. And I want y'all to remember that it's just a concept. I'm not asking for this, but I think you gotta have an idea where you're going before you go. And so this is I really like this idea, but when we put it together, the city was requiring golf cart trails. I don't think you need that anymore, because you got legal street golf carts. So there's a lot of things on this drawing that you don't need now. But this is about 110 houses with about 20 some duplex type houses. And you have to be 55+ to live in them. Small yards. We would have a maintenance company keep up the yards if you want to pay for it and everything. And so you know how 55+ works. And and we feel like this is a good area for it now because I've checked, all surrounding areas, they build them everywhere, but in this particular area, we don't have any. But that's one particular concept there. Now the other one, now, one thing, the other concept was rear entrance. Have you ever been to a place where they have all the garages in the rear? Well, if you take now that's not this one, that's the other one. But you take a craftsman type house, and that's what you want, is craftsman type houses, and that's what I want myself. And you put the entrance in the rear, and you got that front porch. You can sit on your front porch and you ain't got cars and junk coming out of your garage and all that stuff in the front of your house. It looks a lot better and it's more pleasant community. But it's more expensive to build because you gotta have an alleyway street. Now this doesn't have that. This is more like a traditional subdivision. And this will give us a few more houses because you don't have the alleyway streets. And but we have a lot of green space. You know, we would have the clubhouse. So everything you need for a 55 plus. Now, that again is just as a concept. But if you notice in the back of that handout there, there's some questions in the back. And that's some answers that we need to get before we can go much further. And I don't expect you to give me those answers tonight, but I'd like for you to look them over. And I'd like to get your ideas and see if you would approve. But I'm not asking you to approve a permit or nothing like that, but just say, yeah, we like the idea. You know, give us the idea.